Hey everyone. So, spent my first day with Volcon Grunt. It's been quite a blast. I have to say, I really enjoyed it. There's some quirks, there's some little nuances, and I hope to be able to address some of those here. The first thing everybody always asks of is the chain noise. Yeah, the chain's pretty loud. But when I'm running it with, I don't know if you can see it in the picture, a little Chinese 125 four-wheeler, you don't really hear the chain. The four-wheeler is much louder. And there's three modes, and I misspoke in one of my earlier videos where there's the Stroll, and it is governed. You can't go faster than 20 miles per hour. And you do appear to be getting about 33 amps, which is about a third of the capacity of the bike. Explore mode, I said it was 60 amps, and that's where I misspoke earlier. It's 66 amps, so about 2/3 of the capacity of the controller. I didn't notice a top speed, but it kind of just limits you based on the lack of current. And then the last one was sport mode. And in sport mode, it gives you the full 100 amps pretty much any time, and peak voltage of the battery pack was about 67 I'll have to add it, about 67.5 volts. You can do the math there, about 6.7 kilowatt motor. At least that's what it's tuned to right now. I know the motor's capable of significantly more. You can just feel it in the bike. It has plenty of oomph, but it's being throttled, and probably for good reason. Regarding range, so this is supposed to be a 35-mile bike. That's what they say, optimistic, based on Explorer mode and all sorts of little big old huge asterisks next to it. Yeah, I don't know. There's no odometer. I don't know how many miles I drove today. I know I took the kids on a couple-mile loop, and so I think I did 10 or probably 15 loops in between Stroll, Explore, and Sport. And I guess I did at least 20 miles. We're about 40 degrees, maybe 50 degrees today. A little warmer than we have in the last few weeks. But that gave me 3.5 hours of driving. Now it wasn't continuous. I took a few breaks. The loop that I normally go on is about 1.5 miles. And so I went between about 1.5 miles to probably 5 miles on each of my little legs, and we'd come back in, switch kids, and put on helmets and gears for a different, for one of my other children. All in all, it's been fantastic. There's a couple things I wish we could change, and really it's this. You have a magnet that locks this in place. Jeff, get the nose in first, like that. Well, there's been multiple times I did that and launched this across the floor. So when my kids are here, I want to put a handle, a nice little handle that goes from here to here, and the kids can just rest their hands while they're sitting in my lap. And then after that, we'll see what other upgrades, but the brakes feel different. They look like a similar master cylinder, but the rear brakes feel much firmer than the front brakes. And I'll go bleed them and see if I can tighten that up. I mean, maybe it's a different caliper, maybe it's a different piston. We're not sure yet, but both seem to have plenty of stop. I do want to compliment Volcon for their mud flaps. So, can't really see in this picture, but the mud flaps are nice and wide. I'll have to measure, but they're probably 9 inches to cover the 8-inch tire. I went through some mud spots and I was able to spin the tires in the mud, and from there I didn't get any mud on me, which is really impressive compared to some of the other toys where you hit a splash and you just are soaked, or sorry, hit a puddle and the splash makes you get soaked. This one's been really a pleasure to drive. I did notice in some of the other videos, YouTube videos, that they made a prototype video, and the prototype video had a different spring, a coil spring for the rear. It had some different brake discs, and it had a belt drive. So a belt drive would be fantastic. But the other thing that it did have was a softer seat. So this seat pad is really pretty small. And when you're a big guy, about 230, 240 pounds, my bum's a little sore. 3 hours in the saddle's gonna take some conditioning. And the last piece, I had 20% battery, and I was gonna go for one last trip with the kids. And then when I got to where we were going, I had 10% battery. When you hit 10%, this throttle, the controller kills you. You can slow down to about 5 miles per hour or about 13 amps, kind of whichever is the least amount. So downhill, I did get up to about 20 miles per hour, but going up, I was going about 1 mile per hour, 2 miles per hour. I had a kid on my lap, and I was really just kicking my little feet. 5 miles per hour really kills you. When you hit that 10% mark, this controller is going to go into fail-safe mode, and it's going to limit what you can do. But I was kicking my feet, trying to move up the hill, and it was kind of frustrating. That 20% to 10% was very quick. All in all, fantastic first day. I've got the battery on the charger. We're going to see how long it takes to charge. It appears to be charging about 639 watts. And we'll see if that changes as the voltage increases. But thanks for watching.